Aloha. I want to introduce Elaine Kam presenting the Hawaiian melody.
Hi, I'm Elaine Kim. I love living and raising our family here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Its charm and natural beauty is expressed very well in this song, The Hawaiian Lullaby. Where I live, there are rainbows with life and laughter of morning and starry nights. Where I live, there are rainbows and flowers full of color and birds filled with song. I can smile when it's raining and touch the warmth of the sun. I hear children laughing in this place that I love. It's beautiful.
Aloha. My name is Rory Nakamura. Our group is Financial Accountability for Rail Mass Transit Association. We are registered in the state of Hawaii. As taxpayers, we need to investigate the rail financial audit and the forensic audit requested by John Henry Felix. From $1.5 billion to more than $9 billion. Question: how was every dollar spent from the beginning of the rail project? The rail have a lot of unanswered questions. Barbara.
Aloha. My name is Barbara Hudman. Being a member of the Financial Accountability for Rail Mass Transit Association, I've become deeply concerned about the financial impact on the middle-class taxpayers by the continuously escalating costs of the rail project. Did campaign contributions more than a decade ago unduly influence decision makers? Has there been misuse, abuse, or embezzlement of the rail funding? Were contractors' awards made on the basis of wicked connections rather than financial responsibility? Those of us on fixed incomes are worried about future increases in fees and taxes in finishing the rail and see no end in sight at this time. Mahalo.
Aloha. My name again is Layton Cab. I'm a wife, mother, grandmother, caregiver, tutor, retiree living on a fixed income in Honolulu, Hawaii, and a member of the Financial Accountability for Rail Mass Transit Association. Our economy has been sabotaged continuously, first by the Federal Jones Act of 1920, and now additionally by the City Rail Project, which I will explain a little more about. Living in Hawaii is a horrendous challenge, especially if you want or need to buy a house or rent. The main reasons that sabotage us financially are: one, the Federal Jones Act of 1920 has everyone paying enormous transportation fees to import or export anything which we don't have, grow, or manufacture here. If you start a business, such as a farming business, paying for seeds, peat moss, vermiculite to grow veggies becomes very expensive, which we have to charge our customers an exorbitant fee. Customers suffer by cheaper produce, and farmers are not able to earn enough to support themselves and family, therefore are compelled to quit. Because of our dependence on cheaper imported produce, It's predicted that we may starve by 2050. Number two, our overly expensive rail project is the second reason that sabotages our financial economy. Thanks to leaders, Linda Lingo, who allowed a city bill to become law, starting the process of collecting excise tax for rail. Former Mayor Mufi Hanneman, who wanted to reward his construction campaign donors by choosing an overly expensive, maintenance demanding for repair and replacement, noisy, obsolete steel wheels on steel rails. Mufi and present Mayor Kurt Caldwell stated the rail system would cost $2.5 billion. This appears to be another example of the dishonest bait-and-switch scheme, as we now learn that it is more likely to cost $9 billion. Presently, Mayor Caldwell keeps emptying his tax-paying constituents' pockets, enhancements he calls, for his devastating rail project, as this poster visualizes. To live here, you either have to have lots of money, family or sponsors who financially support you, or high earning skills and really good health. This horrible financial climate, is it causing our elected officials to abandon their low and middle tax-paying constituents to make laws favoring their wealthier campaign donors? Hawaii, as you probably realize, is in bankruptcy now. I suggest those who handle and manage our tax funds adopt the concept and slogan, pay for success of our projects only, not for failures. Put that qualifying condition in the contract before spending any additional rail funds. This article by John K. Roman, who is a PhD of the University of Chicago, brought this valuable concept to my attention. It would be very helpful if our city officials would implement this concept before further wasting our hard-earned tax dollars. How do we solve our present rail problem before we all become homeless? Number one, the governor ought to stop using our tax funds immediately. We taxpayers need financial accountability for the rail mass transit now, before any more of our funds are spent. Every successful project paid for by taxpayers require a quarterly financial accountability statement, timetable, and pertinent details. We need to know the what, where, when, why, who regarding all of our tax funds of the past, present, and future. Those who persist in spending our tax funds need to desist. Spend your own money, not ours.
Aloha, I'm Rod Tan. I'm a member of the Financial Accountability for Rail Mass Transit Association. Formerly, I was the state representative for the state of Hawaii, also state senator and city councilman for the city county of Honolulu. Today, I am a businessman, a business consultant, specializing in designing business plans and marketing plans, doing legal research, also international agent, diplomat and business relationships and financial planning. Today I will publicly disclose financial insights into the city and county of Honolulu's steel-on-steel rail base on the revenues to contract the rail coming from an increase of 0.5% of the Hawaii excise tax, 1% increase on hotel tax, and $1.5 billion in federal tax revenues. Specifically on one, the city's lack of financial accountability. Financial accountability is defined as, in quotes, responsibility for the way money is used and managed, end quotes. I term the city's lack of accountability as a financial accountability mystery. Number two, the lack of public financial accountability and transparency. Thus, the financial Accountability for Rail Mass Transit Association supports of the State of Hawaii's Legislative Act 1, having the state auditor to do a financial audit on the city's rail. And third, a current overview of the city's unaccountable finances in the construction of the steel-on-steel rail. In the first insight mentioned, the lack of financial accountability by the City and County of Honolulu's Mayor Caldwell and the city's Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation, otherwise known as HART, H-A-R-T. The proof is in the insight of the overview of the unaccountable finances. In other words, the budget and expenses to construct the 20 miles guideway and 21 stations. The following proofs are: 1. The city's construction to build the rail. The non-concrete budget of $5.12 billion in 2012 to over $9 billion currently. Number 2, uncontrollable costs from $3.72 billion in August 2008 to $8.1 billion in May 2016, as stated by the Honolulu Advertiser, the past, and the Star Advertiser. The uncontrollable costs are due to wrongful cost estimates and construction overruns. 3. The U.S. federal government's Federal Transit Administration, otherwise known as the FTA, withholding of $744 million of the $1.5 billion rail federal government construction budget due to the city's questionable expenses and the non-confirmed commitment to a firm construction budget. Note, the budget and the costs are expected to rise more because contracted construction completion will be beyond the 2020 as initially planned. Possibly the construction will be completed in 2025. The second insight also discloses a lack of financial accountability by Mayor Caldwell and HART when the State of Hawaii Legislature and Governor David Ige adopted Act 1 in the 2017 Special Legislative Session to financially audit HART, H-A-R-T, to avoid questionable spending of Hawaii's taxpayers' money. The Financial Accountability for Rail Mass Transit Association strongly requests the State Auditor to present an interim financial audit report on its audit findings on Monday, October 15, 2018 to the public at the public hearing. I wish to inform Hawaii's taxpayers that there will be a more lack of financial accountability in the future if Mayor Caldwell prevails in commingling the city's general funds for the rail. Currently, by city law, city general fund revenues cannot be used for the construction and operation of the rail, and general fund revenues budgeted for any other city services cannot be commingled for the rail. Now I turn it over to Kelvin Hulihee.
Hello, my name is Kelvin Hulihee. I just want to say this pertaining this Ms. Cheryl Kakazu Park, Director of Office of Information Practice. Number 1, Capitol District Building, 250 South Hotel Street, Suite 107, Honolulu, Hawaii. Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation HART violation of HRS 92-5, Public Agency Meetings and Records. Dear Ms. Park, the Financial Accountability for Rail Mass Transit Association, a State of Hawaii registered organization of advocating transparency and financial accountability of the City and County of Honolulu's fixed rail system administered by the Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation, HART. is requested for the State of Hawaii's Office of Information Practice, OIP, to investigate HART's violation of HRS 92-5, Public Agency Meetings and Records. We allege that HART illegally motioned at the April 19, 2018 open public hearing for a closed executive public hearing in discussion of Mr. Les Kondo, State Auditor to discuss the mandated financial audit report per Senate Bill 4 of 2017. Special legislative session. The motion for closed public hearing was not in accordance with HRS 92-5 exemption. Mr. Kono, who was the former Office of Information Practice Director, questioned the HART board of his motion for an executive closed public hearing, but was ignored. Upon finding the HART board violation the provision of HRS 92-5, the OP should direct HART to give the public the detailed written minutes and or discussion details of that closed executive meeting. Me and another member of our committee did visit the office of OP. So far we haven't had no more information from them, and this has been about a month or two ago. So complying, notice of appeal of the Sunshine Law, complying S Appeal 18-7 is needed in this very important issue. Mahalo and thank you.
I am Charles Carroll, a member of the association and an Oahu resident for 48 years. The association sent a letter to Governor Ige on July the 3rd, 2018, asking him not to release any state funds until the financial audit of the rail course is completed by the State Auditor as required by Act 1, 2017. The audit should be completed before the opening of the 2019 legislature session. The financial accountability has been a major problem in regards to the rail construction costs. Thus requires the audit by the State Auditor. Mahalo.
My name is Frank Genadio. I was a strong rail supporter starting in 2004, but became a constant critic of the current project in 2008, primarily because the city started its manipulation towards a system competition limited to steel wheels on steel rails technology. My task here is to emphasize some numbers on rail. By the time the full funding grant agreement, or FFGA, was signed in 2012 to obtain federal funding support, the development cost estimate was $5.12 billion, of which the Federal Transit Administration obligated $1.55 billion, or about 30% of the total. After providing $806 million, the FTA is withholding the remaining $744 million until it approves a financial recovery plan, which it has had for a year and apparently finds unsatisfactory. Our association has requested that federal officials continue to withhold the remainder of obligated funds until satisfactory results are obtained from the ongoing state audit called for by Act 1 of 2017. Act 1 raised the collections estimate to $9.3 billion through 2030, but also called for exploration of alternative routes and development options. Despite the poor results to date, rail is needed for many commuters. So rather than kill the project with nothing to show for an estimated termination cost of $6 billion, it can be rescued through conversion to American-designed urban magnetic levitation technology. With $9.3 billion, maglev could enable not only completion of the current 20-mile plan, but development of extensions eastward into Waikiki and to the UH campus in Manoa, and westward through West Kapolei to Ko'olina. There also will be enough trains in the maglev proposal to provide 3-minute peak hour service, as required by the terms of the FFGA and not planned by HART, which projects 5-minute service. Along with its operational superiority and being the quietest of all rail, maglev systems operations and maintenance cost will be a third of what they would be with steel wheels on steel rails. Over a 30-year life cycle, maglev conversion would keep billions of dollars in local taxpayers' pockets. So the alternatives exploration must include a full evaluation of 21st century urban maglev. Mahalo.
My name is John Carroll. I'm a concerned citizen and a member of the accountability group. We believe that we need a forensic audit, and we need it now. The minutes of the HART board members meeting recently obtained by President Nakamura reflect clearly the need for the forensic audit. These minutes reflect the members' fear of their financial liability and hope for immunity. Board members called for an executive, that's a private session, to discuss these two concerns: personal liability for their joint decisions and the basis for claiming immunity. A forensic audit is an audit which examines and evaluates a company or other institution's financial information for use as evidence in court. A forensic audit can be utilized in order to prosecute a party or parties for fraud, embezzlement, or other financial claims based on the audit's results. This group formed to force the governor to seek forensic audit and to follow up with the appropriate prosecutions that would be appropriate based on the findings in court. The original planned expenditures were less than $3 billion. Currently, the $9 billion is on the table, and most reasonable estimates complete to Ala Moana seem pegged at about $12 billion. The Federal Transit Authority is holding back millions now, and the only source of funding are the taxpayers of this state. This was caused because Governor Lingle failed to stop this project back in 2005. We implore the governor to stop all spending and all payments to any corporate entity, agency, or persons pending completion of a federally ordered forensic audit. We ask that those guilty of criminal acts be prosecuted and punished appropriately.
Thank you. And Roy, you're the president of our association of the Financial Accountability for Rail Mass Transit Association. Could you tell the viewing audience the definition of boondoggle?
Okay. A wasteful or impractical project or activity, often involving gifts. Example, the project is a complete boondoggle, over budget, behind schedule, and unnecessary.
Thank you. Anything else?
Can I laugh?
25 minutes.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aloha.
Okay.